Skull Rock Podcast is brought to you by the generosity of the following companies. The Old Mill Press, publishing beautifully crafted books that illuminate our world. To learn more, visit theoldmillpress.com. And by listeners like you.
Hi, everybody. It's animation director Bill Croyer, and you're listening to the Skull Rock Podcast.
Aye, mateys, remember this as the day you sailed with the Skull Rock Podcast. Proceed at your own risk and mark well-be words, mateys. Dead men tell no tale.
Welcome to Skull Rock Podcast, the show about all things Disney and pop culture. Every week we take you behind the scenes of some of your favorite Disney films, theme park attractions, performances, books, music, as well as what's streaming, what's playing in theaters, and what's happening in this universe of entertainment. I'm Aljon Go, musician and longtime Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, and pop culture fan, and you can email me, Aljon, A-L-J-O-N, at skullrockpodcast.com.
And I'm Dave Bossert, artist, filmmaker, Disney historian, author, and sometimes missing from this show, Aljon.
No.
Welcome to the Skull Rock Podcast. If you love Disney and pop culture, please subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can also like and follow us on Facebook, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on the Skull Rock YouTube channel. You can also email me at dave@skullrockpodcast.com. Boy, Aljon, I'm back in the saddle for this week,
yes.
But I want our listeners to know I'll be gone for the next 2 weeks.
Wow.
It's just been a crazy summer,
yes.
I have to say. Crazy summer. But we had a wonderful celebration of life for my mother in New York. And I'm in the midst of a move.
I can't believe it, Dave. Well, first, welcome back to the show. May she rest in peace, Dave. I know she was loved by so many over her very long and illustrious life and career. And, I really wish I could have met her because she seemed like the nicest lady. So my heart goes out to your
She was a
family,
monster. No, I'm joking. No, she really, everybody that I introduced her to loved her, yeah. And she could drink most of them under the table.
I bet. No, she seemed like an amazing woman. So may she rest in peace and may your family find peace. But, Dave, I know you've been just going around the world and back with the move and everything. So I know things are going to be crazy, but I tell you, thanks to Kat Arcori for stepping in for a few shows and helping out. Maybe we can get
and by the way, I had a chance to catch the last couple episodes, mm-hmm. and she was terrific, and I'm very thankful. So please send her my best and tell her I think she did a great job. She's a great guest host for the Skull Rock Podcast.
That's wonderful. She's a wonderful person, so talented, and working in experiential producing herself and in filmmaking. She's so great. And I have to say too, because we hadn't talked in a little bit, Matt Mason too, and his celebration of Disneyland. It was great to have him during the Kevin Lima month as well. Just amazing stuff over the past few weeks.
Our poet, the Skull Rock Poet Laureate, Matt Mason. We love Matt Mason. In fact, I almost feel like we should do a monthly segment with Matt, mm-hmm. And not just poems out of his Disneyland book, at the corner of Fantasy and Maine. But I think, some of his other poetry.
Sure. I love the poetry, and I think we should have a poet's corner with our poet laureate. If Matt's willing to cut a few segments for us, that would be great. And I can certainly connect with Matt while you're up there doing the move and making sure everything's happening, and maybe connect with Matt.
Yeah, no, I think it would be great. I think we should absolutely do that. I'd be curious to hear from our listeners if they liked it. Because I thought it was terrific.
Well, I tell you what, we'll post a poll on our Spotify feed, and Spotify's a great place, guys, for you to check out the show. I know that a large number of you check out the show on Apple Podcasts, but Spotify is great because then you can You can not only leave voicemails for the show, which you can on Apple too. There's a link to leave us voicemails, but you can vote on our poll. And so we'll put the poll up there as well. And maybe we'll put the poll up on Facebook as well. That's another great way to reach out to us. But Dave, we have an awesome show lined up. Who's going to be in the hot seat for today?
You know, we've got part one of a 2-part interview with Bill Barretta.
Yeah.
Now, he may not be a household name, but he is a puppeteer. He's worked with the Muppets, with Brian Henson, and he is the man behind Pepe the King Prawn, one of my favorite Muppets.
Pepe,
I love him. I really do. Don't call me a shrimp. I am the King Prawn.
I love it.
Pepe the King Prawn.
I love Pepe. Pepe's like the big pimp in the Muppets universe. I mean,
he's fantastic.
He is fantastic, and I love Pepe, and I love the puppet as well. The Muppet of Pepe is so he's so memeable and emotive, and I love the fact that he's got these little squiggly pieces of fur that run around and they kind of just float in the air, which I love. I just love the way he's animated, if you will.
He's fantastic, and Bill does other Muppets.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that, and we're going to get a peek behind the scenes of how the Muppets operate, and some great stories that Bill brings to the Skull Rock podcast. So I'm looking forward to that.
I love it. I can't wait to talk to Bill about it. And we do have, of course, our news of the week. A lot of celebrity passings over the past few weeks, Dave, but we'll talk about that. But right now, let's talk about
Skull Rock Podcast answers your email.
Dave, we got some email from one of our favorite Skull Rock podcast crew members. So you want to get us started here?
Yeah, you know, this is a great note that I got from our friend Chris Banis, who's a Skull Rock crew member, and also she's a co-host of the I'm slipping my mind now.
Grand Circle Tour podcast.
The Grand Circle Tour podcast. Thank you. Sorry, Chris. I'm having a brain fade here. She starts out, she says, Dear Dave and Aljon, I have to start this out by sending my deepest sympathies to you, Dave, on the loss of your beautiful mother, as I have been in the same situation with losing my mom in her mid-90s. It's still hard to deal with. Hugs to you and your family. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that very much. I've gotten some wonderful notes from listeners and from friends all over the place. She goes on to say, I also wanted to write to tell you how much I enjoyed all 6 episodes with Kevin Lima. I wanted to wait and tell you this after the entire series was finished so I could include all of it. This month has been fantastic, in caps. She goes on to say, I learned so much about Kevin and appreciate the insight. And with this knowledge, I now appreciate his efforts in the industry even more. Thank you both for all your hard work. Thank you for having such wonderful guests on to not only give us facts and inside information that we would never know, but also the fact that they are entertaining us at the same time. Yes. Warm regards, crew member Chris Banis. Thank you so much, Chris. We really appreciate it. We've gotten such great feedback from so many of our listeners who have enjoyed all the Kevin Lima interviews, all 6 of them, including July, Kevin Lima month here at the Skull Rock podcast.
Unbelievable. Well, thank you, Chris, for that note. And it means a lot that you would take the time to write us and enjoy the shows. And by the way, Dave, did you know that we actually had a show milestone while you were gone?
Did we hit 250?
We hit 250.
Wow.
So we're actually in like 252. I forgot what the episode count is now.
Wow. That's absolutely amazing, considering how this podcast started, and the fact that I think early on we were concerned, like, are we ever going to have enough guests?
Oh, yeah. You know, I think this is the great thing about this is the show keeps on expanding, and we keep on uncovering and breaking new ground in terms of extra. This is like bonus features that I love so much. The show,
yeah, so, absolutely, and again, I'll just remind our guests, we have shows in the bank already. All the interviews are already done, going out until February of 26. How's that?
Dave has been very prolific while I've been working and taking care of the kiddos. Dave has been very prolific, and so that's really cool. And we just love doing this show for you every single week. So thank you, Chris, for that note. And once again, I encourage everybody, if you want to be heard, feel free to write us the email. Feel free to give us comments on YouTube, especially. Every little bit helps. And of course, writing us individually at Dave or Aljon at skullrockpodcast.com. We would certainly appreciate it. And now, Dave, get this. Hold on. The film projector is running. And it is time now for our picks of the week. Dave, it's been a few weeks, and I hope maybe you've seen some stuff.
Yes. It has been, and I still have been, believe it or not, consuming a lot of content. And I will tell you, Aljon, that I have seen quite a number of movies that I want to just touch on, and I'm not going to belabor all of this. But I do want to tell you that I did see the Fantastic Four First Steps last week when I was on the East Coast. And I saw it in a theater. It was like a multiplex, and their big theater was called The Cube. It wasn't an IMAX theater, but it was darn close.
Interesting.
So I will tell you, the Fantastic Four for me was a terrific movie.
Yay.
I loved it. I loved, and by the way, I went with Nancy. She came with me to see this film, and she doesn't necessarily see a lot of superhero movies, but she loved this film as well. The synopsis is Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and The Thing face their most daunting challenge yet as they defend Earth from Galactus. Galactus, and Silver Surfer. I can't talk this morning. So I loved not only the cast, which is Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, who is Invisible Woman, Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch, and really one of my, I think an underrated or gosh, they don't even list him. Hold on a sec. Here he is. He's an underrated actor. He plays the Thing, Eben Moss Bachrach.
100%.
He's fantastic. You can catch him in the series The Bear.
Yes.
Opposite Jeremy White.
Yes.
And he's just really, really terrific. He's a terrific actor.
Underrated in the film. Yeah,
absolutely. Also, as a surprise, is Paul Walker Hauser, who plays Mole Man. It's just really a terrific cast. The production design of this movie is beautiful. It's that sort of retro mid-century, futuristic design. It's got that 50s palette with turquoises and, oranges, and just a really visually pleasing film. I highly recommend this movie to anybody who hasn't seen it yet. Awesome. I loved it that much.
I'm with you. I agree with you. Kat and I, we talked about this movie the last couple of weeks, and I think it's a great movie for people to just step into the MCU and watch, because it's not burdened by having to watch 12 years of film.
Exactly. You don't need to see anything else in the Marvel universe to enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This is a film that stands on its own. You can walk in and not have, you don't need to know any backstory, because they give you the backstory and they do it in a very very entertaining way.
100%. Did you feel that the pacing was really brisk? Like, I felt like there wasn't a whole lot of places to kind of let the film breathe. I mean, it was brisk. It moved really quickly.
It moved along, but I enjoyed that.
You enjoyed the pace.
You know, one of the things that I don't like in some of these films is when you have too many flat spots in the movie.
Right.
Because it's like you're moving along and then you just, it stops, you know, and then you move along and then it stops. I like to have a nice pace. Every scene in the film advances the story.
Great. That's really cool. I felt like that to a degree too with Wolverine and Deadpool as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, so it kept a nice brisk pace, which is something that, you know, as I did a rewatch of Star Wars from 77, the original Star Wars, and there are those spots where, and I think a lot of it was just kind of the way films were made, the taste of filmmakers back in 77, very kind of Kubrick-esque almost, where they would let it breathe for a while. I think that's just the effect of Stanley Kubrick, especially from 2001 in science fiction. But anyway, no, it's great, Dave. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and Rotten Tomatoes gives it 86%, IMDb 7.3 out of 10. 88% of people who saw this movie liked it. So I recommend it. It's fabulous. Next, I saw a film called Eddington. Have you heard about this?
I have.
It's like a Western comedy. I really, and again, another Pedro Pascal vehicle. Right?
Pedro's everywhere right now.
Yeah, he is really all over the place. But you got Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal. It's really a very terrific cast. The synopsis is, during the COVID-19 pandemic, a standoff between a small-town sheriff and mayor sparks a powder keg as neighbor is pitted against neighbor in Eddington, New Mexico. This is a quirky, interesting movie. I actually didn't know what to make of it when I first went to go see it. But after I saw the film, I liked it. I thought the performances were really terrific. And you know, you've got just a great cast of people in this film. And let me see here. I've given you the synopsis. I just wanted to just run down the cast again. Joaquin Phoenix plays the sheriff. Pedro Pascal plays the mayor. Emma Stone plays the sheriff's estranged wife. Austin Butner plays sort of like a cult leader. Luke Grimes from Yellowstone is in this. It's really a wonderful cast.
It's a good cast. I see it.
Yeah. So Rotten Tomatoes gives a 68%. IMDb 7.1 out of 10. 78% of people who went to see this liked it. This is a movie, by the way, you don't need to see this in a movie theater. You can watch this when it comes on a streamer. So save your money. Wait till it comes on one of the streamers and check it out there, okay?
Hey, Dave, this movie, Eddington, is also an A24 produced film, so, you know, it's kind of got that gritty kind of indie film vibe to it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, next up, I did go see the Naked Gun remake.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not so much, you know, that high on these remakes that they're doing. But I will tell you, this is a funny, well-done remake.
Oh.
Liam Neeson stars as Frank Drebin Jr., so Leslie Nielsen's son. You know, Leslie Nielsen played Frank Drebin in the original, The Naked Gun. Liam Neeson is absolutely fantastic. He is so deadpan in delivering his lines. It's hilarious. I found myself laughing out loud a number of times throughout this film. Pamela Anderson's in it. Cody Rhodes. Paul Walter Hauser again is in this.
He's everywhere, man. He's everywhere.
Yeah, he's a great actor. The synopsis is Lieutenant Frank Drebin Jr. becomes a police officer like his legendary father and must save the police department from shutting down by solving a case. It's funny as can be. It's 7 point, let me see. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 89%, IMDb 7 out of 10. 83% of people who saw this movie liked it. And I think it's a funny film, and Liam Neeson is in rare form here. He's done a string of action, he's sort of the king of B action movies.
Yes.
This is really a standout performance as far as I'm concerned. So check that out, The Naked Gun, and again, this is a movie you don't have to see in a theater if you don't want to, but if it comes on one of the streamers soon, check it out there.
Nice.
I watched I watched season 1 of a British show called The Capture. Have you heard about this at all?
I have not.
So when soldier Sean Emery's conviction for a murder in Afghanistan is overturned due to flawed video evidence, he returns to life as a free man with his young daughter. But as damning CCTV footage from a night out in London comes to light, Sean's life takes a shocking turn, and he must soon fight for his freedom once more. Detective Inspector Rachel Carey is drafted to investigate Sean's case, but she quickly learns that disentangling misinformation from truth can sometimes be a matter of perspective. In a post-truth era of deep fakes, alternate facts, and ubiquitous surveillance, seeing is deceiving, told through the lens of the intelligence community's extraordinary oversight capabilities. This conspiracy thriller troubles the timely question of whether we can really believe our eyes. This is a series that deals with the AI technology and doing deep fakes and altering videos and not knowing what the truth is or isn't.
Yeah.
It's frightening. It's absolutely well done. Holiday Granger plays D.I. Rachel Carey. She's great. Colin Turner plays Lance Corporal Sean Emery. You've got Laura Haddock, Leah Williams, Ben Miles. It's really an all-star cast. Ron Perlman is in this. Indira Varma, who's a great British actress. She's in this series. This is really worth watching just from the standpoint of all the AI technology coming out and all of this, being able to manipulate video and create, realistic videos. And we've all seen some of these deep fakes out on the internet. This is a scary premise. That you should watch this show, because this is something that is going to be happening if it's not already happening. This is where states can manipulate video and convict somebody wrongfully, based on fake evidence that, looks so real that the public believes it, know?
Yeah, crazy times we live in.
Yeah, so check that out. That's on Peacock, by the way. And Rotten Tomatoes gives it 92%, IMDb 8 out of 10, and 80% of people who watch this like the show. So I think it's really well done. Now, over on Amazon Prime, I watched I've kind of binge watched this because it's absolutely a fabulous comedy drama. It's called Good Cop, Bad Cop, a procedural dramedy centered around Lou and Henry, an odd couple, sister and brother detective team in a small Pacific Northwest police force who must contend with colorful residents, a lack of resources, and their own complicated dynamics. There's 8 episodes in season 1. It's hysterical. Luke Cook plays Henry. Leighton Meester plays Lou. Clancy Brown, who's a great character actor, plays Big Hank, who's the sheriff, and happens to be the father of Henry and Lou. So there's a wonderful cast. There's almost a little bit of a Twin Peaks vibe to this. Just a touch, that kind of quirkiness, if you will. It's a funny show. You can catch it on Amazon Prime. IMDb gives it 6.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 90%. And then 59% of people like the TV show. Nancy and I loved this. We thought it was hysterical. Nice. It was a very funny show. So check that out. That's what I've been watching, Aljon. What about you?
All right. Well, that sounds like a great list, Dave. I have been watching, begrudgingly, Love Island USA. So for those that have not checked out Love Island USA, it's a U.S. version of a British show called Love Island, where a group of singles come to stay in a villa for a few weeks and have to couple up with one another. This is very much Bachelor in Paradise-esque. A lot of attractive looking young people get together and they swap spit for a little bit, and then they figure out whether or not they want to be with each other. And it's one of those shows where I don't watch it all the time, but when my wife is watching, I get sucked in because they are absolutely crazy. We live in this. You talk about good cop, or you talk about the capture and the fact that we're living in an AI world. These people, we live in a simulation. Everything that we see and bombarded with is completely manufactured. When it comes to Facebook, it's curated parts of our lives. These people are clearly, Instagram type of people, and they have unrealistic expectations, and we are being shown unrealistic expectations on TV, and we're enamored by it for whatever reason. It's a voyeuristic glimpse of reality TV. And it's crazy. It's over the top. And if you like Bachelor in Paradise, you're going to like Love Island. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, whatever, it's whatever. Dave?
I'm just shocked that you watched it. I guess you got sucked in, like you said, but I cannot watch these types of quote reality shows because they're not reality shows.
No, they're not reality shows.
They're completely scripted and manufactured.
Yes.
They say they're unscripted, but that's BS.
No. No, it's completely scripted.
Nancy likes to watch some of those shows like Below Deck, Mediterranean, or Below Deck Australia, some of those types of shows. And I just cannot get into those shows. I just think their time sucks.
Yeah, they're and that's probably really what it is. I think you turn your brain off. My favorite reality type shows are the ones where it's like Naked and Afraid. Let's see how these people survive if we drop them off in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, whatever, it was on the background, and yeah, fine. I tell you what I did enjoy is Happy Gilmore. So I saw, to put it in this, we had to watch Happy Gilmore and then Happy Gilmore 2 back to back so we could catch a lot of the references. Does Happy Gilmore hold up? Man, it's one of Adam Sandler's just brilliant comedies. It's hilarious. And, rewatching Happy Gilmore just made me very nostalgic for where we were, 20, 25 years ago when it came out back in 1990, was it 96 when it came out? It's crazy to believe it's been 96. And then of course, nearly 20 years later, here we are, Happy Gilmore 2. It pays homage to a lot of the same characters. I think early on not early on, but Adam Sandler's career, he's been playing the same character in every film. And you come to realize that his form of humor, and if you really like that kind of form of humor, just really kind of, crass and fun, irreverent. Adam Sandler, shouting into the camera, then you're going to love Happy Gilmore 2. The synopsis for number 2 is nearly 30 years have passed since Happy Gilmore famously won the 1996 Tour Championship. For nearly 20 years after that victory, his career flourished. That ended when his wife was tragically killed on the golf course. And distraught, he gave up golf and turned to looking after his 5 kids. And over time, he became an alcoholic and is working in a supermarket. Now his daughter has the opportunity to attend a prestigious dance school, and the cost sees him contemplate taking up golf once again. And it's great. It's funny. If you like the first one, you'll like the next one. And IMDb gives this one, 6.2 out of 10. I was a little bit more generous. I rated a 7 out of 10, which is, a very fair to Midland score, in my opinion. It's good. I would watch it again because it's a great laugh. Metascore gives it a 52. And a lot of the original cast members are back. Julie Bowen comes back in scenes as his wife. Virginia, reprising it from the original film. Christopher McDonald, who plays Shooter McGavin, is back. Ben Stiller comes back. Bad Bunny plays his caddy, which is great. You've got Haley Joel Osment, who is coming back and is kind of doing a career revival, if you will. Haley Joel Osment as another golfer on the tour, which is a nemesis of Happy Gilmore's.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
And I really enjoyed it. Steve Buscemi's in it. Kevin Nealon is in it. So there's a lot of great actors in it. There's a lot of great cameos and references to the original film. So it's a nice love letter. Is it over the top and weird, especially in the third act? Yes, 100%. But if you like Adam, you're going to love it.
I saw a headline for this when it first was dropping.
Yeah.
And it said, I think it was, I'm paraphrasing, it was like Happy Gilmore 2 is terrible and the fans will love it.
That's right. That's right. I mean, if you're like me and you just want to just sit back and laugh, it's great for that, because there are so many references. The tragic passing of Carl Weathers is kind of addressed with his son being there, and a lot of the same gags being put in there. And there is a nice tribute to the passing of Carl Weathers and Bob Barker and a lot of those people that made the original Happy Gilmore such a quotable film. Films like Ghostbusters and Caddyshack and those kind of, mid-early 80s comedies that we love so much, Beverly Hills Cop, those type of films live on in the zeitgeist of pop culture. They're like giants in comedy films, and then you look at something like this, it kind of brings that humor back. And once again, surrounded by a cast of characters from Saturday Night Live when it was in its peak, much like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd were in the 70s and 80s. You have, once again, Kevin Nealon, you've got, Adam Sandler. So all of those types of comedians are there. It's kind of really nice to see that kind of resurgence. I also saw another film called Together. And Dave, I am a horror movie fan, and this one is a very interesting horror film. Years into the relationship, Tim and Millie find themselves at a crossroads when they move to the country. With tensions already flaring, they encounter an unnatural force which threatens to corrupt their lives, their love, and their flesh. So this is kind of a body horror, kind of psychological horror film. It's not a gross. Well, I wouldn't say it's not gross, but I wouldn't say it's like, this is kind of, you remember that Demi Moore film that we saw earlier in the year? That was a body horror film where she was injecting herself and she was trying to deal with the fact that she was aging, an aging actress.
That was the movie you saw.
Well, I'm sorry. It was hailed as a very good film. This is very much the same. It's psychological more than anything else. Great cast. Alison Brie, one of my favorite actresses. Millie. You had Dave Franco playing Tim. They're married in real life, I believe, in a relationship in real life, and they play off of each other great. He's a musician in the big city, and they move out to the country and try to explore what life would be like, being newly engaged. It's just a really interesting film. And as time continues, they run into the supernatural force and their bodies start merging together. They're magnetically drawn to each other. And all of a sudden you see them kind of sticking to each other and then melding each other. It's kind of like an analogy of people lose themselves in a relationship. And when you get married, is your sense of individuality being lost? And are you giving up? You're having to give up so much of yourself to become a new person? Or do you want to struggle to find your individuality? It's like, do I want to be alone and happy, or do I want to be sacrifice some of myself to be with another person? What is true happiness? So it's a really good film, in my opinion. It's another 7 out of 10 for me. And of course, the acting is great. It's a very small horror film. It takes place in small enclosed spaces. So, it's really cool. So
I saw the trailer for it and I said, yeah, no.
Well, what do you guys think of these picks of the week? If you're interested, count on Dave for some of the comedy and stuff, and count on me for the horror. So you have both sides of the coin there, and really crappy reality TV shows. Anyway, what have you been watching? Please let us know in the notes. Send us those emails, and maybe we'll review one of your picks for an upcoming episode.
Skull Rock Podcast. This week in Disney and pop culture.
All right, Dave. This weekend, the box office targets a stellar 40 million plus opening. Freakier Friday wows with a 30 million plus opening. Dave, I think our little girl is back. I say that nicely, with Freakier Friday, and it's great to see that people are going to the box office, enjoying films like Fantastic Four and Superman and Freakier Friday. It's good stuff. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is back. Lindsay Lohan's back, seemingly, so that's good.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for this, and it looks fun, but it also looks like it's a Disney Plus movie for me.
100% it does.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it when it comes on Disney Plus. As far as Weapons is concerned, I'm actually going to see that, and I'll talk about it in a few weeks.
I can't wait.
After I recover.
After you recover. Yeah, because, David, horror movies. But yes, New Line's acclaimed mystery horror movie Weapons and Disney's body-swapping comedy Freakier Friday are off to the races. Late summer domestic box office, where they're running circles around the superhero tentpole Fantastic Four First Steps, which had a remarkable drop. It seems like the hardcore fans came out to see Fantastic Four, and yet the normies, as you will, I think may be waiting to see it on streaming, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing about it. Heading into the weekend, let's see, projected $25 million, close to $30 million for Zach Krieger's Buzzy Weapons, winning the weekend at 40 million projection. So that's pretty good. Freaker Friday, 18.1 million. Pretty nice stuff there. Not too shabby. Dave, got some press release information about a new Disney Plus show. It's time for Best Friends Turned Pop Stars. An all-new trailer poster for Electric Bloom revealed ahead of the Disney Plus debut on September 17th. So once again, Disney Plus going into the realm of these kind of musical, band stuff that they're doing. So check it out if you're interested. This season we'll guest star Daria Renee from Descendants. They've got Mia Keloa as Kia, and Disney alums Danielle Fishel from Boy Meets World and Phil Lewis from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody Service. It follows the three members of a mega famous pop group, Electric Bloom, as they look to tell the story of their band and friendship, starting with the day they met in high school. So once again, music and young people getting together on Disney Plus. Check out Electric Bloom.
Yeah, and something, Disney Plus has been doing a great job with music documentaries and concert films and things like that. I've been really impressed.
I think it's great. I mean, they get the young kids in with movies and shows like Electric Bloom or Descendants, which my kids are all about. I think they're well done. They're like great music videos and high production values. And of course, having these streaming musicals and music performances, whether it's, Elton John or whomever else that they have, Beyonce or whatever, I appreciate it. I like the fact that they're going that route. Speaking of which, Disney news, Lucasfilm and Disney settled a lawsuit from Gina Carano over the Mandalorian firing. Now, this has been a hot topic over the past few years, but they settled out of court. And of course, Disney sent out this press release, and it says, quote, "We have reached an agreement with Gina Carano to resolve the issues pending in the lawsuit with the companies. Ms. Carano was always well respected by her directors and co-stars and staff, and she worked hard to perfect her craft while treating her colleagues with kindness and respect. It's the best outcome for all parties involved." And that's what Carano said. So, I mean, interesting stuff here. They certainly didn't want to make it to court, apparently, in Disney. So they decided to just settle with Gina Carano. So, congratulations, I guess I should say to Gina Carano and Disney for making sure that this doesn't go nasty in a public reveal of documents,
Yeah, but something, this should never have happened, Aljon.
Of course.
When they fired her, what was that, a year and a half ago? 2 years ago? Mm-hmm. Whatever it was, I just think anybody, who would have served on a jury would have looked at this and said, wait a second, she was kind of measured in her viewpoints. They might not have aligned with the studio, but on the other side of the fence, some of our co-stars had put out some pretty caustic things online, and nothing happened to them. Mm-hmm. So I think this is one of those situations where Disney was trying to get this thrown out of court, mm-hmm. and the judge wasn't having it and said it was going to go to trial. So they had to settle this because, as you said, once they had the discovery on all these documents and put that out in a public setting in court, making a public record, I think it would have been damning for the company.
So it's just a warning that when you have these communications going back and forth, they could be brought to light in certain ways. So I think you need to treat people fairly and not have a double standard. And I think that you need to be careful in how you communicate certain things, for all parties, so.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Aljon, but I also think that this is a situation where celebrities should not be putting out political opinions, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on. Mm-hmm. I just think that the fans, I this is my viewpoint now, John. I think if you're in the public eye in an entertainment situation, you really should entertain people and not veer into politics, because as soon as you veer into politics, you're going to piss off some percentage of your audience, mm-hmm. Who may disagree with your opinion, so why not just go out there and do your job, mm-hmm. And not have to put messages out there. Now, some people will argue, well, I'm a celebrity and I have a big platform and I can influence opinions and this and that. Well, yeah, you can, but oftentimes celebrities come off being, come off being stupid, mm-hmm. saying ridiculous things. And, Dean Cain just came out and says he's becoming an ICE officer. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what? Mm-hmm. Like, do you need to broadcast that?
Yeah. No, it's all theater, right? It's all theater. People are wanting to gain relevance. People are wanting to gain favor with, certain demographics or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't really know. These celebrities are out of touch with me, and all I want is to be entertained. So
exactly, but and that's really what it boils down to. It's like, just go do your job and leave the politics out of it. It's been going on for a long time, Aljon. In recent years, lots of celebrities just feel like they think that their opinion is important and that people care about it. They really don't. I don't want to hear what somebody's political views are. I want them to do their job.
Yeah. And I'm being a musician myself, music and politics have always been, something that people do and talk about. But I always made it a point in my bands to say we're not a political band. We entertain people. Yeah. And really, I want more people to come to the table to see my band perform or see my projects, then I won't be divisive. I might have an opinion, of course, but the bottom line is that I want to, my mom always said to, you'll attract more flies with honey than vinegar. So I think you need to just keep that in mind. If you want people to come see your projects, TV, music, what have you, be kind to people, and understand that people are not interested in those type of things. You're an entertainer, so.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like, we all have different opinions. We can respect one another. Yes. There shouldn't be this divisiveness that we're seeing in the country just because we each have our own different viewpoints. I just think it's become so extreme, and it's such a hot button situation right now, and the division is so deep that, I think a lot of these celebrities should just pull back their opinions and keep them to themselves and just celebrate the work they're doing, and and focus on the things that are bringing joy and happiness to their audience.
Yeah, music is supposed to bring people together, and so is art, actually. Yeah, in my opinion. And I think with film and TV, it's the same thing. I think, there's something so communal about experiencing films together on the big screen that I miss. And I really like that. So anyway, well,
all right. I think going forward, people should,
Yep. Moving forward. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
People should just put this stuff behind you.
Now we move into our final story, Lilo and Stitch. Dave, finally, it's coming to Disney Plus, streaming September 3rd. Check out the big laughs, the big wave of fun of laughter keeps rolling when the $1 billion live-action hit Lilo and Stitch. Dave, can you believe how much money this movie's made so far for Disney?
Well, and not only that, they just announced this past week that Chris Saunders, who was one of the directors of the original animated film Lilo and Stitch, they're bringing him on to write the story for Lilo and Stitch 2.
Thank goodness.
Live action.
That's great. I really, I can't wait to see this for myself. It's a movie that I want to bring my family to go see. But once again, this Disney Plus behemoth, who knew it was going to be such a big hit, will be hitting streaming at Disney Plus September 3rd. Please check this out. It's going to be great. There was, I'm going to hit pause there for 1 second because there is, all right, Dave, last before we get into our obituary roll call for the week, there's a lot of talk about what's going on with Hulu because Disney was able to get the final third of NBC Universal stake in the streaming service Hulu. It's not shutting down. What exactly is going on with Hulu and everything going on? Because, Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, Max, there's so much stuff going on in the streaming service going on right now. What's going on?
From what I understand is that they're taking the independent Hulu tile down, and it's just going to be now housed under Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. So you go into the Disney Plus app, and then you go and click on the Hulu tile, like you would if you wanted Star Wars or Pixar or whatever. They have a slew of tiles under Disney Plus. So that's really what's happening.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that because, they probably will have a Fox tile or Fox Searchlight or something like that now. They'll probably do an FX and a bunch of stuff that'll kind of be housed in a separate tile. That's a lot of different tiles, but a lot of great content. And not to mention the fact that ESPN Plus is going to be doing a big resurgence, I guess, in sports and live sports, making moves. They recently signed a several $billion deal with WWE to do some of their live events. So, I mean, Disney's making a big move right now with sports and streaming. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I wonder what all other things are hidden under the surface of what's going on with absorbing the remaining shares of of NBC Universal and Comcast role in Hulu. What other kind of deals may have been had by that? Because Disney paid a pretty hefty sum for that.
They did. They did.
So, well, we'll see what goes on in the future in terms of Disney Plus and the future of the streaming wars in episodes to come.
Obituary roll call.
All right, Dave, here we are, obituary roll call for this week. Over the past few weeks, a lot of celebrities have been reported passing, and some of this week's notables is Kelly Mack, who passed away August 2nd. Best known for her role as Addie in The Walking Dead, Mack brought emotional depth to her series. Her death was from cancer at the age of 33. Very sad, very young.
Unbelievable. I mean, 33.
Yeah,
people. That's just terrible.
Yeah, people are sending me messages because they know I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. It's very sad to see.
Yeah.
David Roach passed August 3rd. The singer of the rock band Junkyard. Roach was known for his gritty vocals and raw energy. He passed away just 2 weeks after marrying, following a battle with aggressive cancer. I did see this, and I know the guys from Junkyard. Junkyard was a great kind of hard rock band back in the 80s and 90s, and it's very sad to see such a talented person pass away. Dave, you mentioned this comedic actor known for his roles in Cannonball Run and Stroker Ace. Alfie Wise was a frequent Burt Reynolds collaborator. His quirky charm made him a memorable figure in the 80s action comedy films. Alfie Wise, you may not know the face, but you'll know him, especially from Cannonball Run. That's where I know him.
Oh, you may not know the name. I think you'll know the face.
You'll know the face for sure.
Yeah.
But once again, Alfie Wise passed away July 22nd. Rest in peace, Alfie Wise. Gang, right now, what a great list of memorable actors. Also, some incredible news from pop culture. But let's now sit back and relax. Let's check out Pepe the Prawn, Muppeteer, Bill Barretta, right here on Skull Rock Podcast.
Let's do it.
Hey, let's chat.
Let's chat.
So let's chat now. Let's chat afterwards. And he said, let's chat again.
Skull Rock Podcast. Interview time.
Well, Aljon, we've got another fantastic guest for everybody to listen to. We've got Bill Barretta, who is a puppet performer or a Muppet performer. Bill, welcome to the Skull Rock Podcast.
Well, thank you, Dave. It's nice to be here.
Well, Bill, one of the things well, first and foremost, I'm a huge fan of puppetry in general, but I love the Muppets. Absolutely love the Muppets. But I always ask our guests how they got into the line of work they're in. So can you sort of take us back and tell us what you were doing maybe in high school that got you interested in puppeteering?
Sure. I mean, high school, I wasn't really interested in puppeteering. I can, if I can, I'll just jump back to when I was probably 11, maybe younger. My brother Gene, who's an author illustrator for children's books now, he's 4 years older than me. And so back when we were kids, he was the orchestrator of our lives, right? So he was the most creative person I knew. He did everything. He was interested in film and music and animation and art and everything. And so he would create movies, and I was in them, and we had a very entertaining family growing up. So I always loved entertaining people. That's what I love to do. And I got great reaction from it. So I was always trying to do that. And at one point, my brother just decided, I'm trying to remember what year, I think it was 74 maybe. He was watching No, it's got to be earlier than that. Sesame Street had been on, big fan. He was a big fan of Sesame Street. And he just decided one day to write to Jim Henson to find out how to make a Muppet. And because he was an artist, my brother made his own letterhead. And in the letterhead, it had a collage of characters that he drew and then some Muppets in there from Sesame Street. And he sent it. And then he got this letter back from Jim, beautiful letter, telling him how he loved his letterhead and, and to hear from such a fan and someone's like that, so talented. And here's the instructions on how to make a Muppet. And so we had these instructions and we went to my...
Was it an actual, did he send you a printed diagram?
Yeah, it was I think it was 3 or 4 pages little pamphlet, like a little document.
So it's similar
steps.
to what Disney does. They have a little 4-page thing on how to draw Mickey Mouse.
Yeah,
So
same
same kind of
idea.
thing. Okay.
This was how do you build a Muppet?
Wow.
And so there happened to be, who knows why, like a few miles from our house where we would ride our bikes every day to a shopping center, and there was a foam and fabric store. And in the foam and fabric store were googly eyes as well, and just all the stuff that you need to make things, right? An art store. And so my brother got into it, brought my cousin on board. The two of them started. I was assisting, everything, helping when I could. And we did a few puppet shows. My aunt's a deaf mute teacher back then. And so we went and we did shows for the kids. And it's really cool, actually, because obviously it's a deaf mute school. They would put the speakers, we set everything to music. It was all visual, right? So we put the speakers facing the ground so that the kids could feel the vibration of the music and enjoy the show that way. And so anyway, so we did that for a little while, and I never thought really again about puppets. My mother would go away somewhere and she would come home with, I don't know if you can see it, but up here, that's a marionette that she brought back from Italy for me.
Mm-hmm.
But every once in a while she'd bring a puppet, and I love them. But I had a Charlie McCarthy, Mortimer Schnurr doll, and that kind of stuff. But I never really was into puppeteering. I wanted to be an actor. And so I went on to want to become an actor. And I was able to study with a man named Sanford Meisner, who was the Meisner technique, and went to the Neighborhood Playhouse in New York and studied with the Meisner technique there for a few years. And pursuing my acting, I decided to move out to California. I should probably mention that when I was 17, I'm sorry, is this going on way too long, Dave?
No, not at all.
Oh,
I'm absolutely fascinated.
Okay.
And I don't want to interrupt you. I mean, if you say something I want to know more about, I might interrupt you, but
Please,
no,
okay.
Please keep
All
going.
right. I just don't want to, be babbling on, but
No.
Okay. So when I was 17, I applied for a job at a theme park in Pennsylvania called Sesame Place. And it was a brand new theme park based on Sesame Street. And I went to work there, and who knows why, but this guy named Brian Henson came to work there for the summer as well, Jim's oldest son.
Yeah.
And we became friends over the summer. And, hung out together, did things, blah, 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 became good friends. He went off to college. I went off just to work and try and be an actor. And so we kept in touch for a long time over the years. Yeah.
So let me ask you, what
Sure.
were you doing at the Sesame Street themed park? I mean, I'm
Yes.
imagining they must have had puppet shows going on.
They didn't actually, but both Brian and I, we were sweeping up cigarette butts and cleaning toilets, and we were the.
So you were custodial.
Yeah, well, and also helping people. We also worked on the rides.
Okay.
They would allow. I don't know if I apologize if you hear that noise.
I did.
For some reason, the gardener's here. Geez, it's loud. Okay, so yeah, so we would help the kids on the rides and all that sort of thing. But we had all sorts of jobs, right? Cleaning, like I said, cleaning toilets and all that stuff. So yeah, we met and we became friends, and we kept in touch over the years. I moved to New York, and he ended up working with his dad more often, and then his father passed away when I was in New York. It was my last year. Sorry.
Which was such a shock,
Oh.
I think, to everybody, because it really was something that could have been prevented.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually on the subway train going to school, and I looked. There was somebody reading. I don't know if it was National Enquirer or some magazine.
The New York Post. Same
maybe.
thing.
Yeah, but it was some sort of kind of magazine thing.
Yeah.
And on the cover it said Sammy Davis dies. Big.
Mm-hmm.
But then I looked, and it off to the side said Jim Henson dies the same day. Is the same day.
Wow.
And I was just, I don't know, I just was in shock. And I just stayed on the train. I went past my stop where I was supposed to get off for school. And I got off down near Wall Street or something, and I called Brian, and I got his wife, a girlfriend at the time, and she said, come to the house, come to the apartment. So I ended up going to Jim's apartment, and the family was there, and Brian was not there right then. He was I think, at the hospital, whatever he was doing. I just couldn't, it didn't make, he was too young. I didn't understand what happened, and they were still learning what happened. And so anyway, I was planning on moving to Los Angeles. I wanted to kind of get out of the shadows of New York, being underground all the time.
Sure.
So I thought, let me try it. And I moved out here and was working, trying to, do everything I could so I could become an actor. I was in construction, and I was waiting tables and pretending I spoke Italian in an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, but I mean, you were doing things to pay the rent, to keep a roof over your head, but you were also going out on auditions?
I was trying, yes. I mean, I auditioned for Star Search, I think, or something at one point, but I was trying to do whatever I could. And as a matter of fact, one of the jobs, so I lived because my cousin had a house that she was renting in North Long Beach. So I lived there, but I found a job in Studio City. Yikes. So I would drive so I could be closer to what I thought would be the studios and everything, right? So that was my thinking anyway. So what happened is, I apologize if this feels really long. So about 6 months later, after Jim had passed, soon after Jim passed, Brian became the CEO of the company. So Brian was now at 25 years old running the Jim Henson Company with his family, of course.
Yeah, and the Walt Disney Company at that point was trying to close a deal on it, I remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, they were in the process of making the deal with Jim.
Yeah.
And so that went on a hold. And so as that was, they were trying to figure out what to do, Brian came out to California because they were working on a kind of the first collaboration of a series with Disney, which was the show Dinosaurs. If you remember, I don't know if you saw that show, but
I do remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he came out and he was visiting, came to Long Beach, North Long Beach to visit, and we were hanging out. And he said, there's this thing, we're using our technology from Ninja Turtles because the Ninja Turtle movie had come out, and we're going to use that technology. It's people in suits, but puppeteers are, animating the faces and manipulating the faces. And he said, I'm doing this thing. It's about dinosaurs. And there's this kind of like a Jackie Gleason, Ralph, I've seen you do this before, this Ralph Cramden thing. And he said, I don't know if you'd be into it. I said, look, I'll pull cables. I don't, I just need to be near it. I need to be on a set doing anything. I don't care. He said, well, why don't you come? You'd be inside of a suit, you'd be inside of this thing. But, it's up to you. So I was like, yeah, are you kidding?
And you're still acting.
Yeah.
Even though you're in a suit, you have to act.
So and that's funny you say that, because in my mind, one of the key acting things is interpreting dialogue through behavior, right? So it's what you're doing, and the dialogue rides along that. So I was the guy doing the behavior, right? It's exactly what I was doing, is interpreting dialogue through behavior, while the other puppeteer, who's manipulating the head and the jaw, even though we work very closely together and how we do it all, he's doing the production track. I can hear it. And so we're doing it together, but I'm doing all the behavior and he's driving all the dialogue and the facial features, right? So I said, yeah, of course I'm going to audition. So I went, I shaved my head because I wanted to look like a dinosaur, as Mr. Method. I shaved my head so I could look like a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something walking around. And long story short, Michael Jacobs, thank goodness, because Brian said, look, I'm not going to make this decision because he's my friend. You guys decide what you think is best. I have an opinion, but, I'll leave it. And thank goodness Michael Jacobs chose me to play Earl. And
what kind of a dinosaur was Earl?
they called him a megalosaurus, actually. I don't even know if that's a real thing. But actually, can I show you something?
Yeah. Please do, because I'll verbally describe it to our listeners. So he's gone over and he's picked up a maquette, basically. Oh, okay. So it's kind of like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but not quite.
No, not at all. It's actually his best friend was the Tyrannosaurus Rex, Roy. Yeah. This was, in my mind, it was just, well, I don't know what kind of dinosaur it's going to be. They didn't show me. So I was just trying to get in a dinosaur mode. But this is a maquette based on the original design and sculpt. The design was by Kirk Thatcher, who was a Henson artist and writer and became director for Henson and worked at Lucas for years.
So I can describe this to our listeners. Imagine a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but the arms are much longer. The character is standing on his hind legs. He's got a long tail, but he's got more of a sort of a roundish, squat face and snout. Which he happens to be smoking a cigar, and he's got a lumberjack plaid shirt on, red and black plaid shirt, and could have a beer in his hand.
Definitely does.
Definitely has a beer in his hand.
Yeah, and I mean, if people have seen dinosaurs, they'll know who Earl is. He was the dad, and but this is just, and his face in this, if you can see, a lot harder than ultimately what he became. They softened him. His facial features, but it was beautiful.
He does look a little fiercer here.
Yes, definitely more fierce. So I ended up getting that, and that's where I met Muppet performers. All right, so it was the cast was a combination of several of the iconic performers: Dave Goelz, Gonzo, Bunsen Honeydew, one of the originals, Steve Whitmire, Rizzo the Rat, became the replacement for Jim with Kermit. Kevin Clash, who was Elmo, all these great Henson people. And then, in addition, other people who worked with Henson as supporting performers, but became the cast of this show. And a couple Ninja Turtle suit performers came over. And we just became this very tight group. It was amazing.
Really a troupe.
Oh my gosh!
You would call it a troupe, right? I mean,
for sure. I mean,
troupe, yeah.
To have the whole family, which is I think 5, you needed 10 to 12 people, because each character at least had 2 performers on it, and we all had headphones and a microphone inside of our heads, and the puppeteers outside, and so it was this ongoing kind of party in your head of people discussing what's going to be. And are you going to do that? Yeah. Now make sure when you turn, we're going to go, okay, I'm going to go, okay, but let's make sure that it was this cacophony of performers in your head.
And the difference here is that you're inside of a suit. You've got an earpiece and a microphone, but you don't have any visuals of what you're doing, do you?
I didn't. All I could see is when the mouth was open. My eyes were in his mouth.
Okay.
At the back of his throat. So when we all rehearsed, we did it without our heads on, first of all, so we could get a lay of where we are, the things we need to do, what's in our way, what's not in our way. And the puppeteer doing our faces, it was interesting. I think, they were watching my face too, based on how I was doing, so they were capturing that.
Which, by the way, is very much the way like an animator at Disney would be looking at the voice talent, recording the dialogue. And that's why when you see the animated character, it's really got sort of these nuanced behaviors that the actor has.
Absolutely right. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. And so So and then we would rehearse that way, and then we put the head on. And if I had to pick things up, if I had to grab something off of the table for a moment, it became muscle memory, and I would rehearse with my eyes closed too, so that I could kind of just figure out where things were. And then if you watch the show again, and you ever see Earl cross a room, he always sighs. So he'll start to walk, and he goes, because that gives me another 10 feet to see where I'm going. Which is really, a fun little thing.
Where you can see through his mouth.
Yeah, just enough to give me another stretch so I'm okay. I'm on target.
That's awesome.
So, and just that was an amazing 4 years of working with amazing, talented people, and who are still friends to this day.
How many episodes did they do of that show?
65.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that puts it into syndication.
Yeah, that was the goal, I guess. Yeah. And it was, I believe, the most expensive show at the time.
Yeah.
To make. It was just
and is that available? Do you know? Are they showing that on Disney Plus?
I think yes. I believe it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And we were, Dave, we were at this, another thing, we were on this lot. Do you know the old Mary Tyler Moore lot on Radford by any chance?
Yeah, in Studio City.
The
CBS television lot, which used to be what, MTM or something?
Yes, it was MTM, and then became CBS, and then Radford. And when we were there, it was us, it was Larry Sanders' show, Roseanne, Seinfeld, and A Different World. It was this amazing lot.
Wow.
And people would come to watch the Crazy Dinosaur thing, and we'd get to go watch theirs, and it was really fun.
This is before Henson purchased the old Pickford Chaplin Pickford studio on what is it, La Brea?
Yes, La Brea, just south of Sunset. Yeah. Oh yeah, many years. This was 1990.
Yeah. So it was way
91.
Before that.
Yeah. Henson, they bought that lot in 2004, I think it was. La Brea,
which is so great because I just love the fact that they maintained just the integrity of it, the historic integrity of the lot.
That was really important to Brian. He really wanted it.
And by the way, people can see that in the We Are the World documentary. Because they filmed and recorded the We Are the World that one night of the Grammys in Los Angeles, where they were able to get everyone to show up there.
Yeah, that was originally A&M Records as well too. And now it's now the Jim Henson Records. But that was just going on that lot, and you would see somebody like Joe Cocker walk by, or Paul McCartney. People they love that studio. Really well-known, amazing studio.
Yeah, hopefully they'll clean up the neighborhood. It really got rough around there for a while. It still is, I think. But
I guess, yeah.
So you finished the dinosaur project, and after 4 years, you felt like you were part of this Henson troupe. What was next?
I don't know if I felt like I was just good friends with everybody. I just felt comfortable being with everybody, and I didn't puppeteer much, even though there were some because I wasn't puppeteering, right? But there were occasionally puppets on dinosaurs that would play. For example, there was a newscaster or something where we could play with the scale of it, so you didn't know it was small. It was just on TV or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would get to watch when I wasn't in Earl, which wasn't that often, but I get to watch these guys perform and see how they work down below with the monitors, seeing what the camera sees, and all of that craziness. And every once in a while, Kevin Clash would ask me if I wanted to come and, help, assist, or do something. Could Bill grab that tail? We're going to do this. And so I don't know. I was playing with them. I felt really happy being with them, and I was sad that it was ending. And I felt it coming. I knew it was coming, the end. And I thought, maybe I should just try and, I don't know, try something at home, play around with a monitor and a camera and see how I do with this stuff, and see if there's anything to it. And so I did. I went home and I just would practice a little bit. The Henson Creature Shop let me borrow a raccoon puppet, and I worked with that at home. And then also I was thinking about, I hadn't really been hearing, because Jim had passed in 90 and this is now 94 going into 95, and I wasn't hearing anyone doing those Muppet characters that Jim did with the gruff vocal sound. Like, nobody was doing Rolf the dog, one, because it was very soon after he passed, and that was a very special character, the family, and it was a big deal to choose somebody to do Kermit, obviously.
Sure.
So they're very careful about who's going to be doing these characters. And so I wasn't hearing that kind of, that gruff thing, there wasn't growly thing. And so I was playing with that a little bit at home, and then I built my own Rolf the dog puppet. I just thought, let me just try it. I'm going to make this, see if I can make one. And I made this puppet, and I started playing with it. And I thought, let me just show Brian, because I think I'd like to maybe I can join them somehow, but just assisting, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I did, oh God, what song did I do now? I did.
It'll come to you.
At someday. I did some song, and he watched it, and I think he thought, oh, that's interesting. Maybe there's something there. And so he then invited me they were doing a music video, and I came and I helped out on that. And then they did this thing called Muppet, I think it was called Classic Fairy Tale Theater or something, Muppet Fairy Tale Theater. And I ended up doing my first character. He let me do an Elvis elf. And I did a song, and I did a whole thing, and Frank Oz was on it. And, it was a whole, big thing for me. And just from there, they started asking me to try a little more. And then Muppet Treasure Island was a movie Brian was going to do next. And there was this really stupid goat pirate that was in it, and Brian said, why don't you come do the stupid goat pirate? And I said, okay. And I went to London and made a movie, and it was just, I don't know, it was crazy. And then the Swedish Chef was in the movie for a minute, and I kind of could get there, so they let me do that bit with the Swedish Chef. And it just, little by little, it
evolved.
Right? Yeah, it did. It evolved.
And was there any one point where all of a sudden it was like, hey, Bill, you're going to be, doing Muppets?
No. I mean, I guess eventually I felt like, okay, I think I'd say maybe after Muppet Treasure Island, we were workshopping characters for a new series that Henson wanted to do, like a new Muppet show type of series called Muppets Tonight. And I started using some characters that I had been playing with in my life as myself. I had a character that I started to do in a puppet form, and then one that was based on my wife's aunt, who became Pepe the King Prawn. And so I started using these characters and playing, and those characters became featured on Muppets Tonight and started to grow and get a following. And I think after Muppets Tonight and those characters broke out, I think then I felt like, okay, maybe this is a place I should stay and see if they want to keep me.
Yeah. And we're starting to bump up against time, but what I'd like to do is come back next week and talk about sort of some of those characters and how that sort of you started getting traction with those your own characters, because I think that's really fascinating. And also the mechanics of being able to use, your hand for a puppet's, head and mouth, but you're also using your other hand because there's the wires hooked to the the
Yes.
arms and all of that. And I mean, it's
crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. So we'll talk about that next week. So,
all right.
Bill,
can I use the valet parking when I come back?
And by the way, stop by the green room, please, and have something to eat, but also clean the place up. It is a mess.
I know.
Yeah. So we'll talk with you next week, Bill. Thank you so much for being on the Skull Rock podcast.
Thanks.
This is animator Rebecca Reese, and you are listening to the Skull Rock Podcast.
Skull Rock Podcast is now on Patreon. Dive deeper into the world of animation, films, and behind-the-scenes stories with your hosts, Al John Go and Dave Bossert. Not only will you be helping to keep the magic alive, but you will be part of our special community with ad-free episodes. We want to thank friend of the show, Joshua Volkert, as well as Skull Rock crew members, Steve Minch and Chris Banis, for their support. If you would like to join our Skull Rock crew, please visit our Patreon link in our show notes or visit patreon.com/Skull Rock Podcast. Thank you for listening and for your continued support of everything we do.
Skull Rock Podcast, where you hear the stories behind the adventures.
Let's get out of here!
Come on, Scotty, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here, Lieutenant.
All right, Dave, another awesome interview with Bill Barretta. And we're going to be buckling up for part 2 next week. I can't wait.
It's going to be good. I wish I was going to be here.
Well,
I'll be here in spirit.
Well, you're the great thing is that you listen, and because you've done these interviews when I wasn't able to show up. Now it's like Dave and Aljon are like ships passing in the night, and we do happen to see each other every week when we do these wraparounds. But it's very cool because I get to listen and check out the stuff I missed.
There you go. But no, I'm hopeful that I'll be back. I hope I'm only going to miss the next 2 episodes, Aljon, but I'll let you know once I get settled. If I can get my computer all set back up, I might only miss next week. We'll see.
Well, you see, you could always call in from parts unknown. Can you imagine doing this from like your phone? That would be crazy. Right?
I know. That would be insanity.
Well, once again, thank you so much for tuning in to the end. Skull Rock Podcast is a great show, isn't it? Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing on every podcast platform that's around. If you got the app, go ahead and give us a subscription. We'd also appreciate you subscribing to our YouTube feed and our social media as well. We're on Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Instagram. Dave and I are both on there. And you can check out our archive of shows, 250 plus episodes. Yay to us. We made it. SkullRockPodcast.com. You can also follow me, Aljon Rocks, on X. You can follow me on Instagram, Aljon Go. Please do that. Send us those emails, and we would appreciate it. Dave or Aljon at SkullRockPodcast.com. Big ups to our friends, too, at Source Radio at srsounds.com, All Disney Music, All Disney Day. And you can also check out my other podcast, Dining at Disney, where we have a lot of different foodie guides because we're covering the Halloween and Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. Check out Dining at Disney podcast everywhere you find podcasts. Dave?
Well, first and foremost, thanks to Kat for covering for the last 2 weeks. I appreciate that very much. And hopefully she'll be back to cover for me in the next 2 weeks.
100%.
We'll see. In the meantime, you can catch me on the Tunes Behind the Tunes on Sirius XM, Disney Hits, Channel 133. All during the month of August, we are featuring the song Rainbow Connection.
Yes.
From Disney's The Muppet movie. So check that out. That's a personal favorite of mine. You can also check out my website, davidbossert.com. There's a lot of free content there. And with that, Aljon, I'm going to say go out, have a fantastic week. We're in the dog days of summer, I think. Kids are starting to go back to school and everything. But go out, have a fantastic week. Be kind to one another. And we'll see you back here next Monday, right here on the Skull Rock Podcast.
Kristen, what's on tap for this week's travel deal?
Well, if you're looking to take a Disney cruise, now is the time if there are more than two of you, because you can save up to 50% off on your third and fourth guests on select sailing. That is right. If you are a family of four, your third and fourth guest will be 50% off. It's going to be 4 sailings on the Disney Magic, Wonder, Dream, Fantasy, and Wish for dates October 3rd to March 30th.
Awesome.
However, you must book this by October 12th.
Wow. As the song says, now is the time. Go ahead and email Kristen, not only for this awesome deal, there's so many more deals going on in terms of the Disney Cruise Line Adventures by Disney. Of course, Universal as well, Epic Universe, open and happening. And, of course, the Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resorts. Kristen, where can people email you to take advantage of these great travel deals?
They can contact me at Kristen, Kristen, at magicaljourneystravel.com.
Save time and money.